So you're telling me you take months off from your videos and then you return and you have 4 videos in 2 days? I think that's what I'm telling you. All right, checking back. If you did happen to watch the previous video, you watched me get in the way of a falling knife. And I was, however, executing a little bit more efficiently than I used to, which was I would have allowed that loss to continue. Instead, as you saw, I was setting stop losses along the way. So I was getting out and then getting back into the trade a little lower, getting stopped out, getting back in the trade a little lower. So I ended up with that trade, which I started at like 68.88, thinking that it was going to find a little action. Here we go. It was going to find itself at 88 and then head back up. Well, it didn't. So this move would have been here. Is it here? Yeah, that was the move. So I got in way too early, flushed all the way down to 82, flushed all the way down through 77, continued down to wicking into 71. So I ended up with 4 contracts at 75 when the dust settled, and then traded my way out of it and ended up with the profit that we have on the board. And I wanted to come on first to close that loop on that trade for you and I, and then also determine, are we trying to find another trade? So I have a little tester, 1 contract out at 77. We talked about this in the first 2 videos of the day. 77 has been a big support and resistance. So now we're looking for it again to be support. Do I want to experience a flush down to this again? Absolutely not. It's a Friday. I'm up 2150. We're doing all right, getting good grades. Our future's so bright. You know what we have to do. If you know, leave it in the comments below of what I would say next. Anyway, so I got the 77 on the board. I'm still looking for this to blow right out through this most recent high of 90 and head back up towards the 6,900 before the day is over. What I don't want to do is get in too early again and then have to go through the agony of battling that trade on a Friday, because I do not like to take futures contracts in and hold them through the weekend. So that is where we are at the very moment. It's coming back down into the 70s. Let's just take a look here together. Let's just take a look together. So easily possible that I don't take another trade. Certainly possible that I miss the next move. If it really starts to move rapidly, like it did this morning, I would probably just try to grab a contract or two on the way up and just hold it for five, maybe 10 points if I'm lucky, just to put a nice cap on today. But I don't want to give any back or much back to the market before the weekend, because it's been a really good week. It's been a really good couple of weeks. Really good week. Like, I think we talked about it since Friday, and it doesn't even include today's 2000. So with today's 2000, we're over 145,000 since Friday. That's because, though, primarily of the silver futures trades that we wrongly got out of. So let's look at silver real quick. Silver spooked me out yesterday because, it will make face-ripping moves, and it got all the way down into the 56s yesterday. So when it started to really move off of 58 into the 57s, that's when I was selling yesterday. And then look, in the meantime, we're back up over 59. Wow. Silver, relentless. So I was hoping at this point to get a nice entry, get this thing back into, I thought it would retest 54 because that was such a big resistance zone. So I'm watching carefully to see when I should re-enter, because silver's not done. Nope. And I know you're such a fan of silver. I am. And it's been very generous to me over the last 2 years. And I believe it will continue to be, possibly through all of 20 and the 26. So you could see it. So many, look at these 2 recent tests of 77. And this test, we're going to test it again. Let's go back. But So 70. Even if I go from 77 to 82, I'd be happy with that trade. But I just want to test it just in case there is the big move. But I don't want to take too much drawdown in doing so, because part of the trading that I have to deal with, and every human does, is to control greed. And that's what got me in at 88, which was too early before, because I just wanted to be in a trade because my bias was for the upside again. So here we are, we're getting close to that fill. What we don't want to see is this candle just start to get aggressive, because you can see what goes on with some of these red candles when they get aggressive. They really get aggressive. So what I would do here, if I get filled and it immediately goes up, I'll put my stop loss back in, probably 25 cents above break even, probably get stopped out before it makes its final ascent up the ladder. But again, we may not even get down there. We are just real close, but we may not get down there. So that's what I'm looking at 1:33 p.m. on Friday, December 5th. My bias is still to the upside, because what do they say? The trend is your friend. I'm looking for at least 89.90 before close, possibly all the way up back through today's high of 69.03, because we're getting close to power hour. Power hour coming at you. So what I would do here, again, just to recap, if I get 77 filled and it goes right back up, I'll put my stop loss in. I won't try to do it too early, but I won't give it too much time, um, because it could easily bounce up and then crash right back through it. If it goes down through 77, I'd probably put another on 76 and 75, and then may have. Hold on, just thinking out loud. Or I'm not even thinking out loud, I'm just thinking inside. Then probably have a stop as tight as 73. But I would then be giving up my gains back into the under 2,000, which I don't want to do, because it's a psychological level. 2,000 a day, 5 days a week, 10,000 a week. That'd be a really nice living. So we'll just keep watching, looking for price action. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment, share with a lovable friend, and I'll see you know when in the next video.